So we all know the notorious A7S3 update 3.0 that unfortunately somewhat destroyed, bricked a lot of Sony cameras. Well, not a lot, the Sony A7S3. Now, a new update has just been released, firmware 3.02. That, in theory, should fix a lot of the bugs that 3.0 and 3.01 created. Now, Sony's 3.02 firmware update for the A7S3, it does these things. It says in the description. So it fixes an issue where the ISO values are not reflecting correctly when doing RAW via HDMI. And I don't do RAW out of the A7S3 into a compatible device via HDMI. I mean, I just do the normal, and then so there's an issue there. Another update that was fixed is the network connection was not possible. I saw a lot of people did have to deal with this. My A7S3 actually did this pretty well. The next update, which you need to stick around to see, is the main reason I'm hoping that this new 3.02 A7S3 update fixed this next thing. Because the number three thing they're saying is improves operational stability. Now that's kind of like what does that even mean? Well, for me, I'm hoping that it means it fixes the autofocus issues, because let me tell you, in this shot right now, the 3.0 update, I actually didn't even do the 3.01, and this 3.02, I haven't seen any videos about it out yet. This has just been updated like July 25th, I think. So I'm still doing some tests. This is the ZV-1 shooting. So the ZV-1 doesn't have as much of this issue that the A7S3 was having with the 3.0 firmware update. Shooting in a scene like this with a bright background and kind of like a high ISO towards the face, but the background's bright, the A7S3 would do a lot of focus breathing. And I noticed I had the ZV-1 right next to it doing the same shot, but it was locking in exposure a lot better. So it made me think like, well, the AI in the ZV-1 is doing a really good job keeping me in focus, not getting tricked. Even when I wave and do stuff back here, it's not getting tricked to go back there. The A7S3, unfortunately, was shifting a lot in the last two shoots I did, where you can't even notice this, like unless you have a really big monitor. Like I didn't notice this until I got home and I'm looking at the footage. So that is definitely kind of unfortunate. And, shout out Camera Conspiracies. He's someone who didn't update for a while. And I think this is one of the reasons why, whereas they don't update a camera for so long. And then by the time it does get updated, you're so used to just working with what you got that when it gets updated, it can kind of bite you in the butt a little bit. And this is what the A7S3 did. So yes, the thumbnail is a bit, clickbaity, but shout out Think Media. It's ethical clickbait to get you to click. And now that you're watching, I say you give this 3.02 update on your Sony A7S3 a try. You really have nothing to lose if you're experiencing some kind of bugs like I have been with my autofocus. And again, it's more so just tracking a face and an eye on the A7S3 after the update. It went from or even just a body moving around. A lot of times if it's in more challenging light with the A7S3 is where I was noticing issues. It would just not be as perfect as it was before the update, with the box locking on and auto focusing someone moving, like I was filming surfing. And it was kind of at night, where the A7S3, it dominates that. But after the update, it was like having trouble following the person. I have to continuously click the box to follow, refollow. And I was like, dang, it wasn't doing this before the update. So I thought that was super interesting how one big update can cause a camera to do something that you really weren't expecting. And then it makes one of the best features of the camera kind of compromised. But lo and behold, there is now a 3.02 A7S3 update. It was just released a week or two ago. And again, I've seen kind of in a similar realm conflicting arguments, but I have seen that it now the app works a lot better with the A7S III, the creator app where the people were having issues. And you can actually use the creator app, which I would say everyone go download right now if you have a newer Sony. It actually works really well, especially with monitoring the camera, pretty much like having a wireless monitor. But then you can control all the settings on your phone while using the camera. And this really comes in handy when you have two cameras and maybe you set your phone up to one camera that's a little further away. You can check on your phone the framing, if it's recording, etc. And that's really awesome. And that came in handy a bunch lately. And I pretty much use it every time I shoot now. So the ZV-1 did that really great. And for me, the A7S III wasn't having too much of an issue with Creator app, but I think the new update is going to pretty much fix any issue you were having. But most importantly, the autofocus issue was my main gripe. And we will see if that is going to get fixed or not. I'll update you guys as I go. But so far, the test I've done does seem to be that it has been fixed somewhat in terms of the autofocus not wanting to lock on perfectly in crazy situations like this. The A7S III was kind of doing this focus breathing thing, but it wasn't like how you really see focus breathing. It was more so it was just trying to figure out, all right, am I focusing on the background or the front? What am I doing here? Or the ZV-1 has the AI chip, so it can lock on. I think just that intelligence in that processing just does a better job because it has that little extra edge over the A7S III. And that's why also, unfortunately, the A7S III is 4 years old now, 4.5 years old. I still think it's your best bet for like your workhorse. If you need something super reliable, you're going to shoot outdoors, you want to like nail focus, which is ironic because that's the thing it was having trouble with. Um, that's like my bulletproof camera, and the ZV-1's kind of like my play camera, and then also just my own stuff. The ZV-1's really fun to shoot with because I've been using the auto stabilizer, etc. So really, the A7S III, ZV-1 are like the perfect match. And hopefully, with this 3.02 update, the A7S III does in fact become unbricked, and we can all rejoice in it being still the best camera to buy and to use in 2024. So we're going to wrap it up there, guys. Appreciate everyone. Please subscribe and like the video. Comment below. Are you going to update your A7S III? Are you going to keep waiting? Now this is the third update again. So let me know if you're going to go for it or if you're too scared and you're going to live in the 2020 A7S III firmware life. So again, appreciate everyone watching this Hero's Journey show. Till next time, peace.